My name is Tony Petrozza, and I'm a hardcore New York Mariner. I'm an artist. I love honest expression. Here, you can call me Captain Sickness. I've been a paratrooper, a stuntman, and a punk rock singer.
Before we even get started, I want to declare it. I do not consent to this interview or being on camera. But what's your first question? I'll tell you, I went by Anthony my whole life. Always respond to that. But the day it changed is I was in the Army. I just went into the Army, and I was in reception station, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, on my bunk bed, right? I was there for my first week in the Army. Some guy on the top bunk, leans down and goes, "Hey, what's your first name?" Because you call each other by your last name, right? So, and I go, Tony. And that was the change right there. We were monkeys in this hole. We grew up here, obviously. And we were masters at climbing these stairs, climbing up these walls by pressing our hands and feet against them, exerting outward pressure. And we would literally climb up and traverse above. And our grandparents would look for us, and they would pass right beneath us. But what were we talking about? How beautiful I was?
Yeah. Yes.
No. And before, in Brooklyn, I was in Catholic school. I was a wrestler. I was an athlete. But once I moved to Staten Island, I really renounced it. It really was a renouncement of sports. I started developing this, attitude and an issue with the world, a kind of anger, and it wasn't anger. First, it was now subsequently, and in hindsight, I can tell you it was a lot. It was a pain from the split up of my parents, but that already started becoming an anger. I went in the Army for I kind of kept this not a secret, but I didn't talk much about it till years later. I went in the Army because I was patriotic, but I wanted to kill motherfuckers, man. I really did. I wanted to kill people, but there was something that's not the part that I kept quiet necessarily. The other part was that I wanted to die. I wanted to die. I wanted to be riddled by a bunch of bullets, and I didn't even want my body found. I wanted to just be a rotting corpse in the jungle and not found. So you got an idea of some of the issues that I had building up in me. My 3 JCs were, of course, Julius Caesar, Jesus Christ, and the Jolly Cat. You'll find out about that later. I became a punk rocker in the Army. That's where that anger manifested into punk rock, into being a punk rocker, and a resentment for authority. Let me tell you, the wrong place to develop a resentment for authority is the military. That did not reconcile well. I came back for your baptism. I'm Luke's godfather. I'm the one.
Well, why don't you elaborate on the story about my baptism?
When I dropped you, it was half on purpose, half accident. Well, let me tell you, the catalyst for my sobriety was the death of my sister, Arlene. She was killed by a drunk driver, and I used to be the drunk driver who chauffeured her around. And indeed, she was my favorite person in the world. And we partied all the time together, but a drunk driver killed her accidentally. But and that was it. And that was her death was my rebirth. But I can tell you, in an estimation, that I quit drugs, including drinking, about 600 times.
Mm-hmm. And how long has it been now? So it's been 2001, so it's 19 years?
Over 19.
Over
coming
19
up on 20.
years.
Coming up on 20 this November. And I don't count. It's very common for people in the rooms, or as they call it, AA or NA. And indeed, I started off with AA, but I moved over to NA mostly at a sponsor's suggestion. But I love them both. But they like to count time in those fellowships. I don't think that's the best thing. I think the best thing is just to remember the last time you used.
Without a doubt, Tony is truly a Renaissance man.
From jumping out of planes in the Army to being a frontman for a punk rock band to writing and producing his own TV show, he's now moved on to his newest venture, a life coach.
I love self-help, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work because basically you get the same issues that you started with, basically. And so I wanted to make a program that makes self-help work. And I did that, but it's taken years to refine it and make it so that it actually works and the parts work. And so then I got a company together, I got partners, and so we've been developing this program. It's been delay after delay, you know, and right now we have a capital delay, but we're working on that, and we have a development delay, but we're working on that. But once it comes, you know, I'll be so rich that I won't be able to do interviews like this. I'll be someone say, listen, do this interview for me. Try to say the answers that I would say. Billionaire, multi-billion, not billion. Okay, you getting that? Stupid.